Hey again, this is Dakota. So as I start this process again, the question that might come to your mind is why pay attention to this guy, which is a fair question. Well, one thing that seems kind of odd to me is that there's no channel like this where therapists are busy giving away good information. Of course, you know, it's a business, so I get that. But I would think that somebody besides, you know, Jordan Peterson with his lectures and his talks and that kind of thing would be providing good information. Maybe I just haven't found it. But in any case, so why listen to me? Well, the history that I have to offer you is that I was a real problem child. We moved all the time when I was a kid, and I was very maladjusted because of it. And I started to drink when I was 10 years old, and I started to do other drugs when I was 12, 13, and there somewhere. And I joined a carnival when I was 15 years old in California, traveled around Southern California for a few months doing that, which, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. And then I joined the Army at 17 and went over to Europe and was a problem child, frankly, in the military as well, doing drugs, selling drugs, getting loaded all of the time. Then I got out and I did the whole biker thing, and not want to be a biker, but hang around guys with patches on their backs, if you follow what I'm saying. And with that, I accrued probably I would say 30 to 40 arrests over the course of my life, and certainly, well, there were 6 DUIs alone, and there were violence charges and you know, stuff that goes with alcohol consumptions all the time, fights and public intox and other hinky behaviors. Anyway, so one of the things that kept me stuck in the cycle of addiction was my difficulty with the whole spirituality thing. Most of you know, or I don't know what you know, but the 12 steps at least requires some amount of what they call turning life and will over to higher power. And because I had decided that any amount of religion was ridiculous, I threw the spiritual baby out with the religious bathwater, as it were, and decided that anybody that believed in religion or spirituality was a fool, and I was way too smart for that. So that kept me stuck in a cycle of addiction and misery and anger and all that. Now, I eventually figured out at the age of 38 how to conceptualize higher power in a way that just didn't seem ridiculous, or spirituality at least, in a way that didn't seem ridiculous to me. I'll elaborate on that more. However, for a lot of the information that I'd like to share, you can access my website, dakotatherapy.com, and there's an article in there called Overcoming Barriers to Spiritual Growth. And the reason I have that in there is because a lot of people like me who are trying to get recovery don't want anything to do with the whole spirituality thing, and so they you know, are challenged by the idea of spirituality and religion. And so my attempt is to try to help people to understand spirituality in a way that works for them, because first of all, none of us know, right? And then secondly, I'm not interested in trying to you know, put my opinion onto anybody else, because what do I know? But I'll tell you this, that when I decided at the age of 38 to finally turn my life and will over higher power and spirituality, that has changed my life radically, and that is worth talking about, in my opinion. So I'll talk about it more later on. So then, as the story goes, once I found a way to turn life and will over to higher power and get out of my own way and seek the guidance, well, the guidance came, and the guidance had changed me from a revolving door in and out of jail and addiction and misery and anger and depression and kind of what do you got, to becoming a man who was happy and healthy and in service to others. And so that is a brief overview of my story. Now, the reason that it has value is because when a person comes to a therapist, one of the things that is understood by research is that the greatest value of therapy is what they call the therapeutic rapport. And the therapeutic rapport mostly consists of how the client relates to the therapist. So if the client believes that the therapist has competency and isn't judging them and is present and has the qualifications to serve them, then that has the value that is needed for therapy. And of course, I'm not going to judge anybody for what they're doing, because no matter who I come across, I've probably done much worse. And I've got the academic qualifications. Over my shoulder are 4 college degrees and 2 licenses if you're keeping score. But that doesn't even do justice to what I have learned along the way. And the value that I bring is mostly from my own experiences and my own readings and a whole lot of other things that I've done along the way that I will share in these videos, probably during the next one, because that has great value. But so hopefully this overview of what I bring to the table and why I might be worth listening to might keep you tuned in, I suppose, or appreciating that there may actually be value in the upcoming video clips that you will be seeing. So here we go. Thanks. Bye.